Again, we're happy that you were able to join us. If you have any questions during the presentation, type them in the chat box on the right side, and I will reply soon after. As a reminder, the recording of this presentation and slides will be made accessible through our website, liferay.com. Also, Dunn will have a copy as well. So now I'd like to hand it over to our presenter, Bill, who will get us started.
Thanks very much. Good day, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our presentation on transforming B2B sales through e-commerce. I want to start out by just introducing myself and my co-presenter. My name is William Dunn. I'm the president of Dunn Solutions Group. We're a Liferay partner and experienced e-commerce implementation vendor. And joining me today is Sam from Liferay, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name's Sam Wijiakuma. I have been with Liferay about 7 years now. Liferay works diligently to provide business-to-business commerce transformation alongside our key flagstone product, our digital experience platform.
Thank you, Sam. So today's agenda, we're going to do some short introductions of Dunn and Liferay. Then we're going to get into the meat of the presentation, which is digitally transforming your B2B sales organization and some of the challenges that people have as they go through that transformation. We'll talk a little bit about the Liferay Commerce Platform and how it can help address some of those challenges and help with you with the digital transformation. And then at the end, if we have some time, we'll do some Q&A as well. So Sam, tell us a little bit about Liferay.
Sure. So Liferay has been around since 2004. We started as a open source platform and have transformed over the years into a fully accessible digital experience platform that was birthed out of a portal vision. So our original portal heritage helps us to have a technology really centered on people, and we have a real vision for business as a digital experience. So we want to make sure that whether you are doing your internal digital workspace stuff on your intranet, or you're serving customers, or you are working on commerce, that you're having a great experience in the business-to-business world.
Thanks, Sam. And Dunn Solutions, we like to say we deliver velocity to our clients. And when we look at where people need to go, they need velocity. Velocity is really two different things. One thing is speed, and the other thing is knowing where you want to go is direction. You need both of those to get velocity. So we help our clients achieve speed by automating their business processes, and direction by providing them with analytics so that they know where they're going. And together with speed and analytics, you get your velocity. So let's talk a little bit about the B2B world. Most people are surprised to find out that the B2B commerce ecosystem is actually significantly larger than the B2C e-commerce ecosystem. And in fact, Forrester and a number of other folks have estimated that there's going to be even more and more money going through that B2B ecosystem. So for those of you who are thinking, should I jump into B2B e-commerce? Isn't that something that's more of a B2C thing? I would tell you that the answer is now is the time to seriously think about it, because the world is definitely adopting a B2B commerce focus. So when we look at it from a business perspective, business buyers are planning to do the majority of their purchases online by the end of 2020. And as part of that, the commerce part isn't just the last part where you click buy. There's a whole series of activities that happen up front that's part of that e-commerce buying experience. And over close to 90% of all B2B purchases are being researched on the internet before the actual purchase. So when we look at B2B e-commerce, there's a very strong, compelling reason to move forward and to jump into that space if you're not there today. So basically, we think that companies that are able to consumerize, make their B2B commerce, more plentiful, are able to drive revenue and increase market share. And we'll talk a little bit about how moving to an online e-commerce type of activity is more than just a cost savings. It's actually an opportunity for more revenue and an opportunity to increase your market share. So let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges that are out there for organizations. And some of these challenges are organizational challenges. They're not just technology challenges. So companies that are, B2B tend to have a history. They tend to have been around for a while, and those companies tend to have kind of the following attributes to them. They're more sales driven. We'll talk a little bit about that. They typically aren't realizing that their customers do want a self-service option, and then the expectations of their customers. And finally, and the last two things that I want to address in today's talk is the myth of what's really happening out there in the field versus what is expected, and then how we can reallocate our most expensive resources to help drive additional revenue. And so let's go through those things sort of one by one. If we look at a typical B2B sale, especially companies that have been around for a while, they tend to be done through personal relationships. They tend to be more sales guy, sales hero oriented type of sales. And many companies tend to use the internet or the website really as a marketing kind of activity rather than helping with the rest of the journey. And so when we look at the different phases that people go through when they purchase, these phases: attract, engage, convert, retain, and grow. Most companies are only using their web presence maybe for the attract and partially the engage section. So there's a lot of opportunity to do more. And the issue with having everything being sales driven is that every time you have a new product, every time you have something new in the market, you have to do a significant effort in order to get your sales team trained. And you also have to follow up to make sure that those messages and new products are being pushed out there in the marketplace by the sales team. Sales teams typically like to sell what they know how to sell. So that's always been a challenge in terms of when you want to introduce new things, and your one channel is through that direct sales team. The other challenge in real life, salespeople actually need to sleep, which means that if customers are interested in buying at times that are not normal times that people are usually at work, they have to delay their purchase till somebody is back at work, and then that may actually create an opportunity for a customer to go to another vendor for their purchase. So if we look at what customers actually want, which is what maybe is different than what typically in B2B you perceive they want. Sometimes customers just want to place an order. In other words, they're not particularly interested in always, talking to somebody. Sometimes they just want to get online and place an order, and that sometimes can be 2 a.m. on Saturday. So giving them the convenience of being able to do that is very important. The other thing that customers seem to want, especially when they're learning about your products, is they want to be able to learn on their own without the feeling of being pressured or maybe feeling like they're asking dumb questions. So the website is more than just a place where they can order. It's a place where they can learn about the products, understand what the products can do for them. And basically what we want the website to be, and what customers want, is they want help in that buying process. They want to be led down a road which will end up with them purchasing the thing that's most appropriate for their needs. And this isn't just a younger buyer who is looking for this. All buyers want that convenience. And I will say on a personal level, I was on a project where I went and I met with a 50-plus-year-old procurement person, and we were talking to him about whether or not he'd be interested in, buying online. And I had all those things in my head about, they're really not interested. He probably just wants to fax things. He's been doing this forever. And I was surprised to hear the first feedback he gave to me is, yeah, can I get it on my iPhone? And so really everybody wants to buy this way, not just the younger buyers. So some of the challenges sometimes when trying to implement B2B e-commerce is that it's a little more complex than just B2C. Typically, there's maybe customized pricing, customer-specific pricing. Maybe there's a quoting process where you've got a price, but then you can also let people ask for a quote. All those types of things tend to make that process a little more complicated. But the good news is that there are ways to achieve all those things online. So you shouldn't feel like just because you've got a complicated process that you can't go online. And finally, customers also want the vendor, they want you to help them run their business. So if they're in a position where they're reordering things on a regular basis, and they would like the ability to just set that schedule up and do those reorders without having to call or talk or email to somebody. And they also want the ability to change those orders when they want to. So all of these things are drivers that customers want when they are buying from you. So the experience that they're looking for has changed dramatically, right? So when you're at home and you're using Amazon or using a traditional B2C site and you enjoy that experience, you don't switch that off when you go into work. So when your customers go to work, they are expecting the same level of B2C experience when they're doing their B2B buy. And why shouldn't they? They're buying things that maybe cost 10 times or 100 times more than what they're buying at home. And if they have this wonderful experience at home, why shouldn't they have that wonderful experience when they're in the office? The other challenges that we're seeing is that oftentimes the world is moving a little bit quicker than it used to. And so the marketing team and the pricing team and other folks, they need to be able to quickly make modifications, enhancements, change catalog information, change information about products very quickly, and without the need for IT to come in and do anything. It's really a marketing function and a sales and product management function. So what we're looking for is to try to create an opportunity to have a technology that will allow us to do that without having to call IT every time. And so the bottom line from that perspective is that customers are expecting the site to help them do their job, right? So the site should help you by telling you about things you didn't know about, suggest products that you might be interested in, maybe recommend that you reorder when your order quantity appears to be lower than it's been in the past. So a personalized experience. The more you can personalize the experience for your customer, the more the customer tends to want to stay with your organization and tend to get value out of working with you. And the value is not just that they placed an order. The value is you're helping them, run their business better. So some other challenges that we see in the real world around the sales-driven model is that most sales teams, tend to do a light amount of cross-selling and upselling. Typically, a salesperson becomes very familiar with a certain set of SKUs and products, and they become the expert in X. And so they're great at selling X, but your company might be selling a million different products, and your sales rep might be very comfortable with maybe 1,000 of those products. So typically, we're seeing salespeople specifically only stick within a certain segment. Where e-commerce can help is the e-commerce site can broaden out what you present to your customers. So if you think about it, it costs a lot of money to get a customer, to get them to come to the site and to get them to even order something. So while they're there, that's a perfect opportunity while they're checking out, during the process, while they're looking at products, show them other things that they might be interested in. And if you can turn a 1 SKU sale into a 3 or 4 SKU sale, you've reduced your cost of acquisition significantly, and you've really increased your basket size and order value. And it's really just by putting out there things that the customer actually wants to buy. So cross-sell and upsell, you might think of them as an annoyance, but they're not. They're actually a value added for the customer, because oftentimes the customer isn't aware that you even have those products that they need. So you're helping them to do their job, but you're also helping to increase your size of basket. Reallocating salesperson time. Salespeople spend a tremendous amount of time responding to important but low value requests. So customers are used to sending an email, calling, they're used to getting that certain sort of information from a sales rep. But if you could take away some of those activities that could be done online and free up that rep's time, they could have more time to do more high value activities, opening up new accounts, doing strategic quoting, explaining how your product might help with a particular customer's problem. Those are high value activities. As opposed to maybe low value activities, which is send me the latest MSDS sheets on on a product, or maybe what are the specs or certifications, or I need documentation on a particular thing that I purchased from you. So all of those things can be highly automated. So if you think about the catalog online, that catalog is not only an ordering catalog, it's also at the same time a reference catalog. And so we can use product pages and product catalogs as a way of giving people more information about those products, even post-sale. And every time somebody goes online and does a self-service request, and they're happier, they got the information they wanted without having to bother anybody, but you've also reduced the amount of time that a salesperson or even a CSR, customer service rep, is taking answering those types of requests instead of doing higher value activities that they could be doing. So all of those things that I just mentioned, they're all challenges, but they're challenges that we feel can be met as you make that transition and your digital transformation. So, coming back to this sort of vision of what people do when they're on your site, if you move towards a digital transformation, what you're changing is how people interact with your site. And we're extending a person's interaction to be throughout the entire life cycle of a sale, as opposed to just the attract and engage portions. So looking at this graphic, you can sort of see at each element of the sale how a customer could engage with the online site. And it's tremendous. The amount of engagement goes up significantly once customers can do all of those things online. And so what we're doing is we're giving customers a reason to come back to your site, to learn more about your products, to buy more things, as opposed to just when they initially first started with you. And that creates a very nice cycle where you go back and then you continue to purchase, learn, purchase, interact, and the website truly becomes another channel for you to achieve sales growth. So I'm going to turn it over to Sam and have her tell us a little bit about how Liferay can help address some of these challenges and help you in your digital transformation.
Great, thank you so much, Bill. So for B2B sellers, there's really just a huge opportunity to make the digital channel a differentiating experience by really just bringing together content and commerce in ways that kind of simplify that product complexity. Because to satisfy buyers' expectations, buyers want to have things fed to them, to not have to do as much research and have a much more efficient buying experience. And whilst they want great experiences to respond to the researching online side, they also want sales tools and insights that grow the account long term, and they want to make sure that those out of the box B2B functionality is there to handle the complexity in the background and cut down on the cost of customization. So to kind of accomplish this, pure play e-commerce platforms can be a little limiting. And this is where Liferay felt that we have a great spot in the market to come in and help you with that efficient self-service purchasing, so that the impact is easy on the buyers, and they're able to have that targeted information delivered to them, very much that sort of Amazon-esque experience, but for business-to-business commerce. And then we also believe that opportunities for retention and growth are really important. So we want to make sure that sellers can evolve in a way that engages the buyers post initial purchase, and make sure that we're hitting on the right touch points based on the behavior that we're seeing from the client. And of course, it's really important to have that management, so make it highly operational and sort of, have the costs that impact that to lead to better customer satisfaction. We're really uniquely positioned to help companies solve this because of the fact that Liferay's B2B digital commerce platform was really built on top of our digital experience platforms. You get to really meld together the, great factors of a full digital experience platform along with the digital commerce so that you have that, cradle to grave view of the client. And it's, a relatively new piece of digital experience, but an important piece because really DXP has to meet 5 primary areas, right? So to fit the needs. There are, first of all, a flexible architecture, so being able to manage the code and extensions for the maximum reuse while avoiding over customization. And secondly, integrated data, so to be able to integrate data from disparate systems for a more complete view of the business and of the customer. Thirdly, the sort of commerce and marketing sales services. So can we unify marketing, commerce, and service processes to really have easy workflows and improve those workflows for everyone? Fourthly, we want to really enrich those experiences. So having that front-end code across digital touchpoints helps us to manage a common user experience across any context and have that omni-channel capability. And then, of course, we've got the customer insights piece, which is to make sure that we're linking data to analytics. Because in the end, if you're not making decisions based on the analytics and that's driving your actions, then you're definitely missing something, right? And that's what we want to make sure doesn't happen. So the Liferay platform has been put together to really make that happen. So you've got the unified content and commerce experiences because they were basically built to be together. So that piece that a lot of, you will face with integrations of other technologies doesn't have to happen here because it's seamless. And of course, most of our customers begin with our flagship DXP product and then add on the commerce piece. But we also have Analytics Cloud to make sure that you can make those data-driven decisions. And of course, if you want this in the cloud, we definitely have DXP Cloud capabilities. But you can also have an on-premise option. It's entirely up to you. And, Liferay has tried to make sure that we've taken the best of open source and commercial open source and wrapped those together. So this will give you really that faster time to market that everyone's looking for, right? With that easy integration, we're open source, we have great open APIs. You can really tailor the experiences based on our audience targeting engines and our analytics to be able to really meet those user profiles and taking a look at what content they're looking at and then feeding to them things that might be related that are going to be useful. Of course, on the back end, we want to make it really easy for the content managers to create and search and manage their content and make sure that the content that is living out there is relevant to folks and making it very social. Look, today people want to see comments, they want to see ratings, they want to understand how the product is doing, what are those reviews saying, and being able to do that online or on your phone or from a desktop, a kiosk, whatever you want to use is totally possible. And we've definitely tried to make that available out of the box because basically we want to make sure that you've got the most powerful tool to make your B2B capabilities an experience alongside the overall digital experience that you're going for. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, I'm going to show you a little video of what customers can expect with a B2B experience in relation to the B2C. I'm just going to see if I can get this video to play here for you guys. So here you can see how easy it is to add widget components. You can see that it's very simple, just drag and drop. Right there, you can do inline editing of all the text and everything else. You can easily add buttons or pictures or bundles, or it's very easy to change the layout styles of things. There's lots of templates available to do that, and it makes it much easier for you guys to map content, and all the fields are editable to as much or as little as you want them to be, and it's very easy to even as you just saw, change color, add related assets, so that you can have those cross-sell and upsell opportunities available. And that's really what customers expect, right? They're looking for that, and they're really looking to see how their business to business can give them that type of an experience. On top of that, we also have the ability to jumpstart you, because we have accelerators available, and we have great features for tracking what people are doing in terms of the orders and the account health overall. We are also big on making sure that you guys can see the feedback, so uncover what your customers are looking at, understand the total customer value for the lifetime of that account, see the KPIs, you can even set KPIs to monitor, and make sure that you're managing to the things you need to manage and not looking at the analytics that are not useful. And people can customize those dashboards. And of course, dynamic personalization is critical, right? Being able to make those product recommendations. So, if I'm buying a television, do I need to have HDMI cables with that, or whatever it is? And from a B2B perspective, a lot of times, people buy the big ticket items and they forget about all the little pieces, and this is where you can really come together and add that dynamic personalization in. So of course, grouping of products helps as well to make sure that you've got that cross-selling capability, and it also helps to improve the discovery of items that they may not have known were available, and this is a very typical usage that we see quite a lot. So obviously, what we've tried to do is take all the pieces of what we see are needs in the B2B marketplace and bring them together in an end-to-end solution that takes the best of our digital experience platform and the best of B2B commerce and the typical needs that people have in B2B commerce, and bring them together into a end-to-end solution for sellers and their clients. So thank you so much for coming today. If you have questions, we would absolutely love to answer those. I believe you can put them in the chat. Great. Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you coming today. If you want to follow up a little bit more with either Dunn Solutions or Liferay, please feel free to reach out to the email addresses that are on the screen. And I hope that it was valuable in terms of your learning about Liferay's capabilities with B2B e-commerce and how they can help you with your B2B e-commerce challenges.